there is no cinema without the audience. For my film, The Monk and the Gun, to get the IMDb Audience Choice Award, heartwarming, it is very inspiring. Hello, everyone. This is Pawo Choyning Dorji. I'm the writer and director of The Monk and the Gun, and today we will be discussing behind the scenes with IMDb.
How would you explain The Monk and the Gun?
I was to put it in one word, I would say that The Monk and the Gun is a celebration of the quality of innocence. I think a lot of the audience, people who watch the film, even without me saying this, the first thing they get out of it is, oh wow, it is a story about innocence. And innocence is synonymous with Bhutanese culture. It is a very, very foundational quality of our tradition and our culture. And I feel when we, as a country and a culture, we opened up to the outside world overnight, television, internet, democracy, all came at the same time. As we embrace that, we're suddenly told by the modern world, by the Western world, that, hey, being innocent is being ignorant, and that with this film, I wanted to show that there is a difference. There is a difference between innocence and ignorance.
What was your reaction winning the IMDb Audience Choice Award at the Geomami Mumbai Film Festival?
It was funny because I was actually invited for a movie screening in Taiwan. So I was in the cinema hall when my phone buzzed and I looked, and it was Anupam Chopra, and she had messaged me. And she was like, oh, your movie won the IMDb Audience Choice Award, and you need to send me a message right away. So I was, really excited. And when you're in a cinema, the movie is going on, and there's like 100-something audience with you, you can't just, scream out saying, oh, wow, I won, right? But, trying to be very subtle in the dark, trying to type out a acceptance message. It was a very strange experience. But when I sent the message to the rest of the team, they were so happy, so excited. The film won awards in Vancouver, in Rome, but winning in Bombay even got our Bhutanese media excited to cover the story, something they didn't cover with the other wins. So that just shows, as I said, what a recognition from India means to us Bhutanese,
Your film is gathering attention globally. What do you think the audience is connecting with the most?
When I talk to people about the films I make, be it The Monk and the Gun or Lunana, what I always say is that I can take something that is very exotic, like Bhutanese stories, and I can tell it with this experience that I've had growing up in different cultures, and kind of share the story through a medium through which it becomes relatable to the rest of the world. Take, for example, The Monk and the Gun. It's very interesting because I've traveled with this film. For example, with the American audience, they seem to connect with the political aspect of the story. And then when the film goes to a country like Korea, for them, they relate to the cultural aspects of the story, not so much about the politics. And then when it comes to India, you could see that the Indians connected it with their own way. The spiritual aspect, maybe they connect with the innocent aspect of it. When the film screened in Bhutan, like a lot of audience were crying, because it struck differently for them. For them, it was a reminder of what we went through. And they could relate to, how the impact of change on society, on family, on how the king willingly gave up his power, all that. And a lot of people got very emotional. I think and that's the magic of cinema, it can just it can connect with you, with the audience in such different ways.
What challenged you most while writing this movie?
I think one challenge with making a film that is a satire about politics and about democracy is that you can almost fall into a category of taking a stand. I'm not saying that democracy is bad. I'm not saying democracy is good. I'm not saying monarchy is better. I am just trying to say that this is what happened in my country. This is what I witnessed basically, and I wanted to share that with the rest of the world. So I think that's a big challenge, and I was very, very careful about that. The script went through many revisions. I really wanted to smoothen out the edges. I think that's if you want to make a, but that was my decision, right? I wanted to make a film that was about politics and democracy, but then I wanted that film to be just that. I didn't want to make a stand.
Which was the most challenging scene to shoot?
The whole series of events that happens at the end at the stupa, that was a big challenge, because as I said, industry wise, we have actors who are great, who are talented, but who don't have the experience in working on projects like this. Crew wise, they're very passionate, they're very keen to learn, but likewise, just like the cast, they don't have the experience in being in a set like this. And that last scene, it was so complicated because we had the ritual going on one side, we had the lamas on one side, we had the villagers on one side, we had the election voting happening on one side. So that scene was very difficult. At the end, I think it took the longest shoot days just for that scene. And of course, when you shoot in mountainous, challenging locations like Bhutan, weather, light, because of the clouds, the mountains, the shooting window period is very short, and just having extras who have never even watched films in their lives, it was a big challenge, but I'm grateful that we were able to get through it.
Tell us about a day from the sets of The Monk and the Gun you felt the most satisfied creatively.
It was the whole gun chase. That's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, when Benji and Ron catch up with the monk and he has the gun, and then that whole sequence takes place by the car and they chase them up the mountain around the stupa and all the dialogues come. For me, when I wrote the script, that scene was something that, very, very important to me. And, for my actors as well, I knew I was asking a lot from them. The whole sequence of events that was taking place, the emotions came out right, the timing was right, pacing was right, the dialogue delivery came out well. And it's just a fun moment in the movie,
Have you ever used IMDb? What has been your experience using it?
All the time, actually. IMDb is great, it's a great place to connect with people, see the films, just any information. It's like the encyclopedia of cinema, right? See who are the people who made the film, who are the people who acted in the film, who are the production companies that are involved, who are the distributors. Everything is there. And for me, it's, as a filmmaker, since I became a filmmaker, IMDb has become, the quintessential data source for everything cinema. So, you guys are doing an amazing job. Please keep it up. Thank you. It was lots of fun reliving the experiences and the behind the scenes of my film, The Monk and the Gun, with IMDb. Please contribute to IMDb's reviews, trivia, and ratings.